Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be my unpopular makeup opinions. A lot of people have done these type of videos, and basically I'm just talking about makeup related things where I feel like the majority of people have one opinion, or maybe it's split 50-50 and I'm kind of on one side of it. Some of these are about specific products, some of them are more about specific techniques. I thought it would just be fun to do. I really like watching these type of videos, and this is why I love makeup, is because, you know, everybody likes different things, everybody does different types of looks, uses different techniques. You know, I think this is kind of why makeup is so much fun, because it is very creative and I really enjoy that about it. I know I'm not the only person, you know, that has these opinions, but I'm very curious. Let us know, what are some of your unpopular makeup opinions? And yeah, let's just get into it. The first one is about eyeshadow primer, and I feel like I'm one of the few people that still use a very traditional clear eyeshadow primer. This is the original Urban Decay one. This one has been around a really long time. I first tried this, I think 10 years ago, and I will say eyeshadow primer, this is what got me hooked onto makeup when I first discovered YouTube, which is about 10 or 11 years ago. Someone mentioned in a video eyeshadow primer, and I was like, what? That's a thing? Because I used to always love makeup, but I didn't know much about it, and I would try to wear eyeshadow, but I have very oily eyelids, and within an hour my eyeshadow would literally disappear. So when I discovered eyeshadow primer, the game was changed. I mean, I became obsessed, and that's when I really got into eyeshadow primarily. And I know a lot of people use concealer, or they use like jumbo shadow sticks and things like that. All of those crease on my eyelids, even like the MAC paint pots. Everything creases on my eyelids except a very traditional kind of clear, slightly sticky eyeshadow primer. I really do like this one, and I like the Milani one and the Wet n Wild, and yeah. I have to use a traditional eyeshadow primer. I cannot use anything else. Alrighty, this next one, I do think a lot of people are kind of with me on this now, that these Stila glitters are overrated. I used to love these, and I still think that they are a beautiful product. I've talked about this a lot on my channel, but I just feel like they dry up so fast. I've used up quite a few of them, and this one is in a project pan, and you'll see in that, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to throw this one away because I've revived it multiple times and it just isn't working anymore at all. And I've only had this since January, which is crazy. You know, a set of 3 minis is $25 and one full size is $24. Luckily, I've managed to finish all my other ones, but yeah, this one is not usable anymore. I think they're beautiful, but for how expensive they are, they dry up so fast. I just do not think that it is worth it at all. All right, the next one is face primer, and I feel like people are about 50-50 on face primer from the videos I watch and people that I follow on Instagram. I feel like half people think primer is a bit overrated, it doesn't make a huge difference, and then others are kind of really into it. And I'm one of the people that I think face primer is actually almost more important than the foundation that you're using and the face powder, because I will say it depends on your skin type, because a lot of the people I watch who say that face primer doesn't matter have very nice skin. They tend to be a lot younger and don't have a lot of lines. For me, I mean, I'm young, I'm 35, but I have lines on my forehead and here and under my eyes. And I just feel like a smoothing, pore filling type primer. This is the Farsali Skin Tune. I've talked about this one a lot. I really like it. For me, using a pore filling smoothing primer makes so much difference in how my makeup looks overall and makes my foundation look. I feel like I can almost use, you know, any foundation, not any, but there's a lot of ones on the market, and I can get most of them to work if I use a good primer and set it properly. This next one is one I feel like people are kind of 50-50 on, and that is Colourpop. And my unpopular opinion is I am not sick of Colourpop. I know so many people get annoyed that they're always releasing a lot of products and constant new releases. Although right now they haven't been releasing much, but they did just do a release with Ulta that was pre-planned. I don't mind. I like all the variety, and if they want to release stuff every week, more power to them. I don't have to buy it. This is the Sweet Talk palette. This is one of my newer Colourpop palettes. You know, I do like this one, although I wouldn't say this one's my favorite. I'm just using it as an example, but I don't mind that Colourpop releases stuff all the time because then I can pick and choose what I want. And there's so much from them I've never tried, but then there is so much from them that I absolutely love. And it really is one of my favorite brands. I will say in a way it is kind of wasteful that they release so much because I know a lot of people have said they're kind of promoting like fast makeup, but you know, I've had some Colourpop products for many years and they've lasted very well, except their liquid lipsticks. I will say those expire rather quickly and that is a huge turnoff, which is why I stopped buying them. But everything else from them, I think the quality is great. And if they want to release a new palette every week, more power to them. Right, this next one is kind of what inspired me to do this video, and that is these e.l.f. bite-size palettes. I feel like almost every favorites video I've been watching in the last 1 to 2 months, people obsess about these and they say they are fantastic. And I don't think that they are bad, but I really think they're only mediocre. I can definitely get them to work. I do like these two that I have. This is the jalapeno one and this one is truffles. I also had the acai one and I did declutter that. My issue is they're not the most pigmented eyeshadows in the world, and if you blend them too much, they tend to disappear and become patchy. Now, like I said, I like these. They're good, but they're not great. And I've heard a lot of people comparing these to Natasha Denona, and I could not disagree more. I have 3 palettes from Natasha Denona, and I think that formula is far superior. It is more saturated in color. It is much easier to blend. You know, I think the $3 price tag is swaying people. I do. You know, and for $3, I really shouldn't be complaining. My really only complaint is that they're not as good as more expensive eyeshadows, in my opinion. You know, they're not as good as Colourpop. They're not as good as Natasha Denona. So yeah, like I said, they're not bad, but just to me, compared to all of my other eyeshadows that I am in love with, they definitely are not as good as those. But I will say, they are better than a lot of other e.l.f. eyeshadows I've tried, because I have tried a lot of e.l.f. eyeshadows over the years, and I will say those were not as good as these. So this, I think, for e.l.f. is an improvement, but I still don't think it's comparable to other formulas. Alrighty, and the next one is about Morphe brushes, and my unpopular opinion is I really love their brushes. And I know a lot of people have issues with the brand, and I will say it is problematic in some ways, and I'm not really commenting on that. I'm just talking about their makeup brushes. But compared to a lot of other problematic brands, they're actually not that problematic, in my opinion, you know, compared to the most problematic people. But almost all the brushes I've ever purchased from them are great. And this one is, what is this called? The M438. This one I use for finishing powder. And I've had this brush for 5 years and it's in perfect condition. Now, I will say that some of the people that I've seen that didn't like their brushes were buying some of the kits. When I purchased these, I specifically did look up reviews from people who had purchased them themselves and were really talking about the quality. And I know that's kind of the thing with Morphe is, you know, people are constantly pushing their products because they make a lot of commission off those coupon codes. You know, it is what it is, but the brushes I've purchased from them are great, and compared to some more expensive ones like Sigma or MAC, you know, they're just as good in my opinion. And like I said, this one has lasted a long time, and I have quite a few others that are 4 to 5 years old and they're still in good condition. But I will say I think it depends on which of their brushes you buy. Definitely some are better than others. Alrighty, last up is about under eye concealer, and people are always talking about under eye concealer, how they need to get the perfect one that doesn't crease. And my opinion is I actually think that my under eye setting powder matters more than the concealer I'm using. Now, I do have dry under eyes, so if I use a drying concealer, then it's gonna look like a hot mess. But as long as it is a creamy type concealer, as long as I use this bad boy right here, Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, then I can get any creamy concealer to stay in place and not crease. I really think the powder is more important than the concealer. I've only ever found one other powder that works on my under eyes. That was the Lancome Absolute Pearl. I used that one last year and I used it up. It's nearly identical to this, and this is cheaper, so I'm sticking with this. But it has a pink undertone, which also I like. Once at MAC many years ago, the makeup artist suggested that I use more of a pink tone under my eyes. to kind of contrast to darkness, even though the rest of my face is yellow undertone. So I wouldn't use pink on the rest of my face, but just my under eyes. And I've been doing that ever since. So this has a slight pink undertone and it is just so finely milled. I don't know how it does it. I've tried so many powders on my under eyes, and no matter what concealer and what powder I'm using, if it's not this one or the one other one, it will crease. It really will. So I really think the powder matters more than the concealer. I have a lot of concealers that I really like and they don't crease because of this. Alrighty, that is it for this video. I think this was a lot of fun and I'm really curious, what are you guys' unpopular makeup opinions? I know none of these were all that controversial, but I just thought it would be fun to do. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.